Okay. I realize it's getting late in the evening, so I'll try to keep this as crisp and brief as possible. Uh, Normally, when I talk about SuccessFactors Solutions, it takes me about a day's time to go through all the key elements that are there included as a part of SAP SuccessFactors. Such has been an investment from SAP in this kind of solutions. But just a quick intro. Thanks for introducing myself, Muskan. I grew up in a typical Marathi middle class household where both my parents were government servants. So I saw firsthand the impact of their service, not only on the people that they served, but also on me. It is because of their unwavering commitment to their job and the stability of the government job that led me complete my education and, at the end of the day, have me standing in front of you. So in many ways, I think the government enterprises are like unseen pillars of the bridge that you see on the picture here, right? The public may see only the road ahead, but beneath it's your work that holds everything together, right? Ensuring smooth passage for the public. Today, I am here to introduce a solution that doesn't replace these pillars, but ineffectively strengthens them to drive effective public service. And that effectively has been the product philosophy that we have in our product. We are basically building products that will help government agencies develop citizen-centric, forward-thinking policies. And we are not stranger to SAP. I think Sudhakar spoke about SAP's presence in India. This slide is about SAP Success. It's a little filtered out slide of SAP SuccessFactors presence, SAP HCM presence in India rather. It's been about, we are a 22-year-old young product right now in India when it comes to SAP HR. So no stranger to the way HR is being operated inside India. Some of the logos that, SAP HCM for SAP HCM footprint, but the key thing is this slide, right? With all our intent on making in India, right? Although we are a MNC whose corporate is in Waldorf, we have a significant presence in India in terms of the development might of the product that sits out of Bangalore office, right? So we have about 450 product managers, engineering 250 ops. So if I speak about SAP HCM itself, the entire localization of India payroll, right, is driven by the person who sits out of the Bangalore office. And so ineffectively we say, although our hearts are in Waldorf, our minds sit out of India in Bangalore, Mumbai and Bengaluru. Right? So this gives you, as customers, this gives you a complete focus on driving the, or influencing the whole product strategy, right? What all features can be included in the product. You can actually help us drive that influence because of our proximity to the product management. And that investment has been visible by the fact that, last year around the same time, I think it's completed 1 year now, we established our data center in India with a keen eye on the DPDP Act that, that will see through the day or in due course of time. So you will see all the data because this was the need of the hour, and we had our legal experts, who advised to get this started as soon as possible so that, public sector customers can get us on board. Onboarded with their cloud operations. Okay, so how do we help you with all of these background, right? And I'm going to talk a bit about our platform, but I don't know anybody interested in yoga here? Anybody does yoga? Show of hands, very nice. Okay, so I typically I'm a ardent follower of Hatha Yoga. And I like this concept of a complete yogic view of complete human being, right? Which talks about Sharira, Atma, Prana, and energy, right? So mind, body, soul, energy. Those are 4 key pillars that make up a complete human being, right? That is analogous to where our product has incidentally been structured as well. So when I talk about Sharira, right, the limbs and the physical body, these are the modules that do all the heavy lifting, right? We start off with core, payroll, time. These are the modules that help you run your people data, make sense out of it, how the entire HR department gets run. Then you have, once the data gets generated or gets captured as a part of these modules, you have the mind, okay? which is our business AI that sits on top of all of these modules. As Sudhakar mentioned, we typically had all of this data as an SAP product, but we never made good use of it, right? So now is the time when SAP is kind of investing a lot into making sense of this data that gets captured in the platform, right? That's essentially forms the mind part of our solution. Next, we have the soul, which is actually something that provides insights into the application. So a combination of AI and the data that gets captured in your system gives you a complete overview of the insights that are present in the application. And so there's some very interesting insights that get generated by combining your HR and finance data together, right? FT productivity, your workforce cost sliced and diced by different heads, right? So those are some of the key parameters, and I'm going to talk about it when I show you the demo as well. And obviously the energy that flows through the whole system is driven by the employee self-service systems that we have, right? Because I think government sector organizations are typically one of the key things when I visit government sector customers I see is one of the most diverse in terms of workforce demographics. So you have a 19-year-old fresher who might have joined your organization to a 65-year-old veteran who has always been working, right? So it becomes very important for us from the user experience perspective that both the strata find it very easy to access and update whatever is expected out of them from an HR, because people don't use HR as a, like business applications. You want to do your transaction, come out 5-10 seconds quickly, without even bothering whether, without even bothering about your user experience. So that's one of the things that, we are getting very keen. So one of the key aspects that we released was integration with MS Teams, possibly wherein if your organization uses MS Teams, things such as processing approvals, putting leaves, etc., is all possible through our integration with MS Teams itself. And all of this is extendable using business technology platform, which is our extensibility platform on the whole. Now, we call this slide as the SAP SuccessFactors 6, because the 6 main reasons that I'm going to talk about, when we talk about SAP SuccessFactors strength in terms of what we have, right? So I had a fortunate opportunity to visit Kuno National Park very recently. Kuno National Park is known for cheetahs, right? So we had a good fortune of looking at cheetahs running. And our guide who was a very knowledgeable man, explained why cheetahs have such high speed. And one of the main reasons why they have high speed is because of their spine. Yeah, their spine is possibly one of the most flexible spines, agile spines in the whole animal kingdom. And the reason I'm telling you all of this is because your agility is directly correlated with the spine or the backbone of the animal. In very similar ways as the agility of your entire HR workforce management application depends on the core piece of the application, which is your core HR and the payroll piece that we have, right? So it is possibly the strongest piece in the entire. We have the strongest core when you talk about the entire HR stack of applications, for the single reason that it is single and unified, right? So things such as maintaining your service book, including all the data starting from hire to retire to transfers, promotions, disciplinary processes, etc., can be maintained in all one single platform. The other part of it is the whole payroll and benefits piece, wherein all the localizations that the government releases as a part of the payroll, right? We ourselves develop those localizations by virtue of having a development center in India, and you can post those localizations inside the platform itself. The second piece is from the talent management piece. Now, I had a brief meeting with the head of talent management of a private company recently, and what he said really struck a chord with me. He said, Gaurav, if I want to find a person for a position that is empty inside the organization, and I want to find a person from within the database that I have, somehow it is much easier to find a person outside than finding a person inside. That's because it is easier to find people's data on LinkedIn rather than finding it on inside, just because the way those systems are structured, right? The primary reason for this is because we don't have a single source of truth in terms of skills, and even if we do have that, that is not connected most of the times to surround applications. So what we do with this is, we kind of we provide you a single database of skills, right? And we have completely digitized with AI. What that means is you can give our system all your job descriptions. It will extract all the skills from the job descriptions. It will attach it to job families. It will attach it to employees. And then you give you one single view of what all skills are there across your organization. Where that helps you is, it helps you in things such as ensuring training investments to align with capability gaps, right? So these things form a backbone of our talent management solution, which is the second point. The third point again is integration. I think Sudhakar covered it a bit, but what I wanted to cover here is, I think Sunmesh sir said in the talk before, because you have integrations with various providers, right? You have integrations with VGE provider. Probably it's a boundary function. Recruitment is a boundary function, right? You have integration with test providers, assessment providers, screening providers. Payroll is integrated with various government entities. But all of this needs a very strong framework of APIs. So that is something that the platform also offers. And all of this is meaningless if you don't get to report on all of that data, right? So this is where the single pane view of the entire HR and finance comes together. And the good part is you can use all of that data to predict using predictive analytics that is there as a part of SAP. So in fact, you can predict retirements, retirement trends, you can predict the probability of attrition, and based on that, all of this will help you in planning your workforce better, right? So all of this comes together again to create effective policies for public sector organizations. And lastly, and I'm not going to talk about this slide. Instead, I'm going to show you something when we get into the demo. I think by now you would have had some slide fatigue. I'm continuously moving through slides, but yeah. One of the approaches that SAP might have changed in last few years is the way we engage with customers, because we are now starting to move to cloud, and cloud is mostly subscription model, right? It's like a credit card. You take a SBI credit card today, you don't like it, you switch it to some other credit card, you switch it to some other. It's very easy. The switching costs are very low, right? The same thing is with cloud. So our success lies in the fact that when you procure our solution, you adopt our solution very well. You use it to its fullest extent, only then you will renew with us. So that's the reason the whole SAP operating model is changing, wherein we don't just sell you the license and step aside. We will have our people working with you, helping you out for all our cloud platform products, so that you adopt these products in a way that is possible, right? And we also provide you a lot of digital adoption tools as well. Right? When you talk about HR, right? CHRO once told me, I access my HR application possibly for 3 reasons: leaves, payroll, performance, right? So every time something new rolls out, it becomes very difficult for my employees to go ahead and adopt. So we're kind of investing also in something called as digital adoption platforms, much like when you install a new mobile app on your phone, right? It tells you, right, click here, you get this, click here, you get this, click here, you get this, right? So this kind of a guided workflow is what we are kind of also embedding into the platform, which will help you roll out things faster, create things faster, build a knowledge base, and ultimately realize the value going forward. So all of this is again the end game for us here is, if you are on our SAP applications, it helps you realize the value of data, and ultimately use AI for the betterment of your organization. Now, having said that, I think I'll directly move to demo experience use cases. The way we have structured this demo is in 4 key areas, right? Typically, when I do my SuccessFactors demos, I have a use case of about 200 use cases that I usually show, but it was a tough task for me to constrain this all into four pillars. So what these 4 pillars are typically: employee data management, payroll automation, performance and career advancement, skilling and knowledge management, right? So these typically address these 4, and the questions that these address are, I have highlighted only one question, but there could be many, right? So for the sake of demo, I have just taken up one question itself. Right? So when I talk about employee data management, a lot of questions I get from the government sector organizations: how do I effectively manage service book, right? So we have all the data. What do we do there with that data? How easy it is to update and verify service book? How easy and effective it is to keep track of what all changes have been going on in the employee life cycle. So here I'm taking, for employee data management, I'll be taking 3 use cases. First is the headcount management, right? How do these dashboards that the HR platform, what is the capability of the HR platform in order to generate these dashboards, right? So here you plan your workforce, here you onboard all the new hires into your workforce, and here you manage data for the newly hired workforce, right? So when I talk about headcount management, as a manager or a person who does the headcount, okay, so this is the headcount, the person logs into the application, okay, he will see a workforce planning and analytics portal. Now what you saw on the screen is the SuccessFactors homepage. Once he clicks on this, he's taken to a workforce planning homepage, right? This is where one thing he can do is before he plans for his headcount, he can view his current state. When he views his current state, he will see his entire workforce segregated by different parameters, right? So you will see different dashboards such as headcount by contract type, job classification, job level, etc. Right? So SuccessFactors offers you these different parameters on which you can track your workforce and also slice and dice it. So for example, if I want to slice it by job classification or by job codes, right, it's easy for me to pick up those filters. By the way, all these dashboards are 100% configurable, customizable, no coding required. Everything is a drag drop functionality that allows you. If you've used Power BI, it is much more powerful than Power BI that it has to offer, right? Now I can select I can put in more filters. In fact, in addition to workforce overview, if I want to view, let's say, a very critical dashboard for public sector enterprises is workforce diversity, right? Very diverse organizations. So you can create this kind of workforce diversity inclusion related dashboards, which gives you a headcount by generation distribution, headcount by gender, headcount by tenure, headcount by caste, category, etc. All of those dashboards can come out from here. The other part is, what you saw is the reporting that purely happens on top of HR data. Now, what if you want to merge all the finance and HR data together, right? Financial costing of an employee, how much does it cost to keep an employee versus the HR data. So this is where your workforce performance dashboard comes into picture, which takes into account data from your payroll, data from your finance, data from your HR, and gives you some key KPIs such as salary and wages FT, your payroll FT, bonus FT, travel FT, all the costs combined that tie to an employee together. And then those can be broken down into a trend, into a quarter-on-quarter trend, or into different cost centers or business units wise. If you want to compare those can also be brought in. All right. What we recently actually we were successful in doing that, is this whole talent management piece where we were able to capture skills of the employees, right? Those skills also become reportable. So what do you see here on the screen is all the skills that are available for me across the different locations, and what is the demand for those skills by my managers across these locations as well. So now, instead of planning purely on headcount, I can also plan based on skills, right? So basically what it allows me to do is, instead of hiring from outside, it will also tell me what are my upskilling opportunities for my current employee workforce as well. So I can use these skills, I can tie these skills to my learning programs and assign those learning programs to my employees, thereby reducing my recruitment costs outside, if you're doing a direct recruitment, that is. Okay? Just skip this. Okay. And then all of this information you can use in your workforce plan, all of this headcount related information. So you have the supply coming from your HR software, you have the demand coming from your business, you can juxtapose those supply and demand, and you can create a complete workforce plan as to how many people you need to transfer, how many people you need for grade changes, how many people for terminations. The system will also help you predict the terminations, right? You cannot really predict termination, but you can also factor in the retirements, terminations. And then the system, if you click on calculate, the system will automatically calculate the numbers for you. So this is pure play workforce planning, headcount planning in action. Okay. All right. And then once you finalize the list of positions that you need to create, you can push it back into your org chart, and your org chart starts reflecting those, and then you can start hiring against those positions as well. Okay. Sorry, I'm just skipping some slides but I'll cover it in my talk track as well. One of the interesting things that we're doing is NLP based analytics, right? It's the age of chatbot, ChatGPT. So we have kind of brought that feature into our platform as well, wherein you can actually ask the analytic platform as to, let's say, what is the total number of new hires in the organizations, and it will go in, it will make sense of that query, and then it will give you the data. Now, if you want to slice and dice it by, let's say, a location, what is the list of what are the number of new hires based on location, right? You can just have to type in that query saying what are the new hires in location, right? And then here also it starts giving you suggestion wherein you can slice and dice new hires based on business area, job family, etc. And then You can also go ahead and change the nature of the graph. So if you don't like bar chart, you like pie chart. Okay, so you can go ahead and say, please give me the graph in pie chart, right? So and then it will go in and ultimately give you the graph in pie chart as well. So it's basically a conversational analytic in picture, wherein it makes it easy for your business heads or your department heads to take out analytics in a very easy and meaningful fashion. Okay, so we have planned the headcount, then you come here onboarding, when you're onboarding new hires, right? So it's the same UI that you use for new hires. So whenever a new hire joins in, he gets something called as a onboarding portal, wherein once he gets into onboarding portal, he will have a list of steps that he needs to do. Now, all of this data that you captured during recruitment automatically becomes a part of your onboarding portal, and then it goes on to become part of your service book. And all of these tasks that you see on the left get triggered automatically, okay, based on the employee who's joining in, including things such as e-signing of your documents, right? When the people join in, if you want to digitize a piece of documents that needs e-signing, those documents can also be hosted on SuccessFactors, wherein the person can go in any policy NDA that he has to sign, he can go in, bring out those documents. So documents, interestingly, will be pre-filled based on the data that gets captured in SuccessFactors, right? And then he can just click on e-sign there and finish the docket in one go. In addition to that, by virtue of our localization focus, we also provide a lot of government-related forms. So things such as joint declaration form or employees PF form, the digital version of the form is provided out of the box in the system. What that means for you is, tomorrow if government changes any format in the form, SAP SuccessFactors will take care of that. You don't need to worry about changes in the format. We will just apply a patch and then you're good to go, right? And then in addition to that, all the stakeholders that are involved in the part of onboarding, they can also be made part of your entire platform, right? So a lot of organizations also tie, because we are an integrated platform, it also allows you new hires to quickly go through the new hire onboarding learning program as well. So they'll see their new hire onboarding learning program either before joining, after joining, and then they can go through the whole learning program piece as well. And all of this data then comes as a part of your service book automation. So service book automation is basically one single employee file, which pulls in data from different sources, right? Now there are various ways in which this data can get updated. You can either update it from the portal, or you can update it from the mobile app. Okay, so for example, or you can update it via our chatbot, right? So omni-channel framework for updating service book to make sure, as Sir put it, that the quality of data is accurate. Right? The more easy you make it for the employees to input data, the greater is the quality of data. And so for example, in addition to the web app, I just bring up the mobile app. This is the way the mobile app is structured, right? So our mobile app is one of the key highlights of SuccessFactors. This mobile app is maintained and serviced by SuccessFactors. We have our engineers sitting out of the Apple and the Google office, which makes sure that this mobile app is in accordance with the guidelines that are published by these two big vendors, right? So it basically brings in all the data either from performance management, either from recruitment, etc., in one single mobile app as well. So and it has classic features such as push notifications, analytics, etc., all included as a part of this. So if you see here, if the person is on a transfer and he has to change his addresses, he can just go into the mobile app, edit the address, upload any document that is related to his address, and then just get on with it. In addition to seeing his org chart or even his payroll related information. Now the same thing can be viewed via a chatbot, right? So this is a lot of you might have heard of Joule, which is the latest SAP chatbot. So all of these things such as a time and attendance related thing like clocking in, applying for leave, clocking out, applying for break, can be accessed through the chatbot itself. So chatbot interface is available inside SuccessFactors itself, and things such as viewing holiday calendar, viewing pay slip, etc., can be accessed from this itself. One of the key things that we brought here recently is ability for the chatbot to understand your policies. Right? So what you do is you have a bunch of policies, you just feed it to the chatbot tries to make sense of it, and then you can go ahead and the employees can go ahead and ask questions based on policies. Because I think we found that most of the HR organizations service desk get questions on the policies for, let's say, leave, payroll, etc. Right? So all of that can be fed by what we have a system called as RAG, wherein we ground the AI on your data, And you can actually do simple things that the way they are shown on screen. So for example, the user logs in and he wants to know whether he is eligible for an overtime pay or not. Right now, the system has his grade, the system has his location, the system has his job. Right, the moment he types this, am I eligible for weekend pay? It goes in, looks up the policy document, and then gives him a response based on the policy document. Right, so this is where, and in addition to that, it also references the source document. So if you have used Perplexity AI, it always gives you the source of the document, right? Like a chat GPT, right? So it always gives you the source, and then you can go in and add more questions based on any questions that you have, right? So for example, am I eligible for how many leaves am I eligible according to my leave policy? You can either check it in the portal or ask the chatbot, and the chatbot will automatically respond to you in a very natural fashion. Okay, so these are various ways in which you can effectively capture data for effective employee data management. Now, all of this data now goes into a very important feature called as payroll. Right? So we have an end-to-end payroll platform, which is also called as SAP SuccessFactors Payroll, of which I'm going to talk about 3 use cases, one from the employee, payroll admin, and CIO or compliance perspective. Now, when I talk about employee, everything that has got to do with payroll from an employee perspective can be accessed from the mobile platform, starting from leave, attendance, benefit claims anybody has to make, or approvals, pay statement, pay slip, pay history. All of this data has one single pane access from the mobile app as well as the web app, right? What we are bringing in a feature, and this has not been rolled out to India yet, is explain my pay slip. Right? A lot of times there are deductions in your pay slip. Employees have deductions in a pay slip that they get confused with any extra deductions, any extra earnings, right, etc. They will always have questions to it. So they can actually ask these questions to the chatbot, right? To view my current pay slip, wherein the chatbot gives him the current pay slip. Or then if they want to understand your pay slip, explain all my deductions in my pay slip. If they can just type it, it will get data of the pay slips and it will explain all the deductions that are related to tax, payments, etc. And then if he wants to boil down on one particular deduction, it can also raise that question, explain national insurance deduction on my payslip, and then it will give that explanation. So it's basically an agent kind of an interface, just an automatic agent, which allows you to, an unmanned automatic agent, which allows you to service any employee queries. This is from the employee perspective. This is how we empower employees to, take note of, to go through their entire employee life cycle. The second piece is from the payroll admin. Okay, so what SuccessFactors Payroll does is it gives you a complete control on your pre-payroll to account and reporting, which means that you can simulate your payroll even before you run your payroll. Pretty similar to if you're using SAP Payroll currently. This is very similar to what you do there. You can simulate your payroll. You can see the impact on the costs. You can simulate those costs. You can simulate what all errors might come while you are running your payroll. Then ultimately run your payroll. So as Sudhakar mentioned earlier, we can run different kinds of payroll. You can run an active employee payroll, a contractor payroll. You can run a pensioner payroll as well using SAP SuccessFactors Payroll. You can also run off cycles. Now, once you run your payroll process, you can post your payroll process. If you're using SAP as your backend, this integration is extremely simple. The system itself creates a journal voucher entry, and then you can post these to your FI and allow you to do reconciliations. What I'm going to show you next is an example of what we have built in the product called as Payroll Control Center. It is basically a cockpit that allows you to see, for example, what all feature, where your payroll might go wrong. Basically, it's a one single dashboard that allows you to see where all your payroll goes wrong. So basically, there's a pre-payroll process and a post-payroll process, and it automatically tells you in a visual format what could be the possible errors in your before you run the payroll. What could be the possible errors? So one of the errors that I see is in a posting simulation. So when the data gets posted to your finance module, what are those possible errors that you might get because there is a bad data? Right, so I can go in and see what are the warning messages, and then it highlights what are the warning. No master cost center possible for direct assignment. Right, so there's no master cost center that has been aligned to the employees who are included as a part of payroll. Similarly, you can go in see detailed dashboards of all the errors, and these errors automatically can get assigned to different teams. If you're using payroll in a shared services format, you can easily assign this data to different teams as well. in addition to the errors that you might face. So it basically preempts all the problems that you might face during payroll when you are running a payroll, okay, and gives you a chance to correct those. In addition to that, it also gives you aggregate dashboard as to how many employees payroll you are running, how the current payroll is different from the earlier payroll. And not only this, not only from here, you can then have system delivered dashboard that tells you what are the total and gross net pay for previous and previous group period, etc. And all of these dashboards are also available as a part of our payroll analytics platform, right? So when you talk about payroll analytics platform, you basically want to know what is the costing that is going out as your wages, employee wages cost, right? So we provide a complete framework for creating these kind of dashboards. So for example, you can select the date range and it will give you the positive payroll amount by each wage type, right? So it will tell you what are the costs associated with respect to page type. Not just that, it will also give you a payroll run amount trend so that you will know, you can predict those costs as a part of your financial cost planning as well. You have an option to even use more dashboards. So for example, the system will also automatically tell you, these are what you see on the top with the bulb here is automated insights. That the system automatically makes sense of the data dashboard that you have created. It will tell you that the total of June was an increase of 11% from the payroll that was run last year. So there might be a possible increase in the salary outgo of the employees. And then it automatically generates insight. It tells you who are the top contributors to the salary outflow that you see on the in the bottom, and then you can drill down further into this, right? So very comprehensive engine in terms of what a payroll can do for an admin as well. Lastly, from the payroll perspective, again, a lot of India localizations getting delivered, right? So we have compliance managers who take care of this, wherein you can find something called as a legal change dashboard, wherein we regularly publish what all compliances are coming through, what are the compliances that you need to take care of, what are the compliances that have been created in the product, how you can apply, etc. So this is a legal change dashboard that's available that helps customers like you stay on top. And in addition to that, one of the things that we also do is integration with finance, right? So there's an out-of-the-box integration with finance. So anytime if you're using SAP Finance, this whole payroll posting process becomes extremely seamless, right? Our internal research indicates that there are about 205 standard integration points between an HR payroll and a finance system. This all comes pre-packaged to you as a part of our solution. Okay, so anytime you make any changes to the HR platform in SuccessFactors, those get automatically accounted for when you create a payroll run. Right, so this was a part of our payroll automation. An interesting piece that we recently developed was implementing generative AI as a part of an ACR process or an annual confidential review process, right? ACR process typically is a very data intensive process. A lot of inputs coming in, a lot of data gets generated. People have to type in. If you have a span of control of 50 people, you have to type in 50 comments. So what we did was we infused a power of AI into our ACR, the whole performance management process, into 4 key areas. So you have the goal generation AI that automatically generates goal for you. You have a writing assistant that automatically generates comments for you. You have a feedback assistant that automatically generates feedback for you. And then you have skills intelligence that automatically generates skills based on the data that is captured, right? So basically it brings down the manual activity that you need to do as a part of performance management process 10x. And I'm going to show you some examples of it as well. Right? So I have a user who's logged in. He's an employee. He wants to create his own goals, right? Those goals might be cascaded centrally, or he can go in and create his own goals. All he has to do is, the moment he clicks on create goals, he'll be taken to a screen where he can go create goal from scratch. But this is a lazy guy. He does not want to, go ahead and do the typing, and also intelligent one. So what he does is, he, just puts a very rudimentary goal here and clicks on generate. The moment he clicks on generate, the system again has the background data, his role, profile, etc. And then the system goes ahead and creates a goal for him, right? So creates a KPI for him. So not only does it create the KPI text, but also things such as description, metric, even breaks the KPI down to sub KPIs, right? Including the start date and the end date, etc. And then he can go in and just save it, saying that this is a KPI. He can also cascade it to his direct reports as well. Now, when it comes to his manager, who has to review his performance form, again, it comes out as a notification on a mobile phone or a web. You can just click on reporting manager rating. is taken to a form, which has a complete workflow of your entire performance management process, starting from your manager review, your reporting manager review, your next level manager review, etc. And then based on that, he can go in and start rating the employees. Now the good part is while he's giving the ratings, and he has to fill in the forms, right? There are two things that SuccessFactors offers. One is the writing assistant, right? Which allows you to put in things such as, when I say the employee can improve a certain competency, or what is it that means by what meant by improving certain competency. The system will automatically generate this text for you. You can use this text. And now if I use this text here, I want to modify this text a bit because I want to sound a little political. This might be a little confrontational, and I want to sound a little political because I'm a nice guy. So what I can do is I can use a Grammarly-like interface. So if I highlight this, I get this kind of an option, which ultimately asks me, gives me all these options. I can enhance writing, I can change the tone, make it sound more professional, etc., make it longer, make it shorter. All of those jugglery I can do with respect to these comments. And I can keep modifying it until I'm good with the text that gets generated. So if I'm not happy with this, I can just drop this down and I can keep on generating more and more text. Now this is possible through the infusion of the entire generative AI that we have as a part of our AI platform as well. So the process that you saw was, powering of our ACR with the AI. The next process is pretty straightforward, right? I think promotion is one of the key process in any government sector organization, right? But it involves a lot of homework to be done before you create a promotion eligibility file. So it could be a simple report that can get generated on the basis of the eligibility parameters that you are given, but it could also be a very complex report that brings in data from your PAR, brings in data from your disciplinary system, brings in data from your demographic system, and give you that data. So what I'm showing you is an example of a dashboard that can get automatically generated based on the employees who are eligible for your promotion. So it will basically tell me these are the employees who are eligible for promotion. This is the cut in terms of general SC, ST. What are the grade types? Based on seniority, how many are the people with respect to each, with respect to their joining and their caste, how many are the people who are chiefly eligible? So in a nutshell, what this will do is, it will take all the eligibility parameters into picture and finally give you a very protracted list of how many people are eligible for promotion. Okay, using our automation, you can extract out of those lists and automatically send that list out for approval as well. So a very short use case in terms of what can be done as a part of your promotion automation. But this use case can also be extended to things such as your transfers, your promotion orders, etc. as well. Okay, last piece is skilling and knowledge management. This practically consists of one key area, which is helping employees access information quickly, right? So public sector organizations are troves of information, right? A lot of people working in the same organization for a lot of period of time know a lot of things about the processes. So how can you capture that information, make it a part of the explicit knowledge database? And how can you also make sure that the information that flows from top to bottom is seamless? So three things again: seamless top to bottom communication, seamless journey for employees, and collaboration on knowledge management is what this module does, right? So basically any standing orders, any transfer orders, if you want to, any organizational changes, if you want to percolate down the organization, this module will help you do that. Now this module is something that sits on top of SuccessFactors, okay, and also all of your other business modules as well. So it forms a common wrapper on top of all the business modules that you have, right? And I'm going to show you an example of this. Okay, so this is like a employee portal, right? So what I've done is I've mocked up, a few examples based on what you see on the screen. So you can basically create this sort of banners that link to different kind of data across the board, right? The data might not be just HR. It could be outside HR, any information that you want to provide to the employees. And so for example, if this person wants to see, let's say, data on quality performance that have KPIs that have been set for aspirational block development program, which is part of the state's mass ride initiative, you can actually put that as a document inside. If you want to embed any videos pertaining to any education that you want to give to the employees on the new initiatives that your organization might have launched, those videos can also be, embedded very easily. So what you see on the screen is a simple example of how you can create. This is all drag and drop, by the way. The portal creation, the addition of content, etc., can be created automatically in the platform itself. So even a person who knows basic, I would say, basic content development and content generation would be able to view this or create this portal. I've created this portal in possibly 1 hour flat by getting data from all the platform. Now, in addition to what you see on the top, is in addition to employment related data, organization specific data, you can also bring in external data as well. So external Twitter handles of your organization, Facebook handles of your organization, those can also be brought. So basically one place for employee to get in all the information that you as an organization want to push it. Now in addition to this, right, this is all external data, non-structured data that is coming in. But in case if you're an employee who is a project manager working on a certain project for digitization, right, you won't be accessing just the HR system. You'll be accessing a purchasing system, an invoicing system, a project system, and a billing system as well. So all of that data from different systems can also come in together in the same format, okay, in the same space. So this portal not only accesses data from your HR, but also finance, CRM, any business systems that you want to get in. So for example, this person also has access to all the equipments that might have placed against him, right? An asset management system, or even the travel management system, right? So all of this data can be brought in together and made available to the employee. So we call this application as Work Zone, which sits on top of all of your business applications. And by virtue of having APIs, it can integrate with all of your applications to make sure that the journey for employees is seamless. Okay, so this was all I wanted to cover as a part of a product portfolio of those 4 key pillars. The interesting piece is what is next in terms of innovations for SAP SuccessFactors. So I think Sir spoke about Joule agentic AI, right? So that is something that we are coming up with, going ahead, right? So we are investing heavily in creating agents, and what I'm going to show you an example of this an agent. So for example, if you want to create a job requisition, right? So job requisition involves creating a position, approving that position, creating a head count against it, and then finally putting that as a requisition in the recruitment system. Right, so all of this can be controlled from our chatbot, right? So wherein you just tell the chatbot saying, please go ahead, review the job description and create a requisition. So it will essentially, what it will do is it will create a requisition, talk to the manpower planning system, create a position, post the requisition onto different job boards, and then give you the resultant output, right? So it's basically different agents, a recruiting agent, a manpower planning agent, a position management agent, essentially talking to each other to make sure that the experience is seamless. Now this is what we're currently building. This is not yet live, right? We are still in a pre-POC for this, but this is largely how it will look like. So what you see is 3 agents called as HCM Navigator, Workforce Planner, Recruiter Assistant, all working together to make sure that you get the best experience possible, all from chatbot, right? So this is a saying that we have in SAP that your AI will be your new UI, right? So you don't need UI going ahead. It will be all AI, going through chatbot as well. Okay, so whatever you saw, there are various options so the key question is how. I am hoping you liked what I showed here, but then how do we get here? It looks too aspirational, possibly, right? But the answer is here that there are various ways in which you can adopt SAP SuccessFactors solutions. So if and these slides are for people who are existing SAP customers. It could be, you have 3 possible ways. If you want to do a complete greenfield implementation of SuccessFactors, you have that option as well. Or if you want to do a mix of current SAP HR plus SuccessFactors, you have those options as well. So there are different options which you can test out depending on what your priorities are. But what we find is most of the customers that are tied with us, private sector as well as public sector, they show a lot of interest in going for SuccessFactors because of the agility that the application usually brings in. Because any changes that you want to make in SuccessFactors, you do not have to go and code anything. It's all front-end driven. You want to create a position, you want to add a field in the position. It's all front-end driven, right? You do not have to know ABAP, you do not have to know NetWeaver, nothing of that sort, which makes it easy for customers to adopt these solutions. And SAP on its own also provides a lot of support, right? So we provide, if you want to go from SAP HR to SuccessFactors, we provide something called as readiness check. When we have agent, where we have automation that runs in your system, identifies what all customizations are there, and tells you that what is the way forward for these customizations, and then you can take a concerned call as to how these customizations will fit into HR. So we'll be very happy to engage with any of you, who, in case if you want to move your SAP HR system to a SuccessFactors based cloud system, wherein we can do the study and you can give your recommendation report on how easy it is to move as well, right? And this is just an example of what that automation does. It basically identifies what all key process areas and their usages are, and then it gives you the recommendations and it tells you what is the relevance of usage transactions. This is a bit more technical, but we'll get to that when once we do an initial study of your systems as well. So finally, 4 key areas when I talk about SuccessFactors. One, it's a comprehensive end-to-end suite. Right, all the anything and everything that you need as a part of managing your HR applications data is a part of HR. It becomes a part of our platform, and because we have all the modules, the data that gets captured in each of the module becomes very simple for you to report on. And because of that, the things such as creating AI models, managing AI use cases becomes very easy. And obviously, it's an unmatched power of SAP ecosystem. I think this is the most understated fact of SAP solutions, because today if I want to configure something in SuccessFactors, I will not go and look up SAP documentation, because it's highly too technical for me despite spending 22 years in SAP. I'll actually go to YouTube and search for let's say how to create a position in SuccessFactors, right? It will give me 200 odd videos of how do I go ahead and create that. So it's a unstated power of having SAP SuccessFactors as a ecosystem with SAP. That will allow you to gain that agility as well. So that's about it. That's what I wanted to cover. I know I've gone ahead of my time, so I hope it was worthwhile whatever I presented. Thank you so much.